Alright, Oval fans, this will be my review for Season 3, Episode 8, entitled One Rule. Now, I feel like this was one of the better episodes of Season 3 so far, but it still wasn't great. It had a couple good moments in there, but for the most part, yet again, it really seemed more of the same. Just more of the same things we get every single week. But I will say the inclusion of the vice president seems to have reinvigorated a little spark in me of there's hope for what the rest of this season has to bring. But for the most part, it was rather meh. However, I will still give it a 6 out of 10 because I love the vice president now. He's probably one of my favorite characters despite being only in one episode. But the argument could be made, well, Jeremy, this guy just seems like another General Martin, somebody that recruits, so to speak, Bobby and Max to overthrow the current administration, but then it blows up in their face. That could be the case, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy this ride. Trust and believe. I'm trying to find anything of interest in this season that I can. So, I might even do a second video where it's like, why season 3 is trash or whatever, mainly because this is really feeling like the first portion of Sister Season 3 where I'm just sitting here waiting for something of importance to actually happen, not a rehashing of the same thing every freaking episode, but just something to happen. But before moving forward, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe because we're getting closer to 200,000 subscribers. Hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So, remember what I said in my video where I said, what was it? I think the title was, is Hunter, kind of giving off slave master vibes in regards to abducting Sharon? When I mentioned in the video, I'm like, hey, a few people left those comments on my Oval videos over the past week. And when I really rewatched the scene of where, oh, wow, when you think about like the president as the slave master, getting one of his like slave supervisors, if you will, Kyle, to bring one of the selected few into the big house to be with him. And then you see how Kyle took Sharon by force. It really just leads to the, oh yeah, when I look at it from that perspective, it might be a bit too much, but when you look at it from, yeah, I don't know what Tyler Perry is doing here. When Sharon name dropped Sally Hemings, I was like, yes. So the episode starts off with, Sharon in the Oval with Hunter, obviously not wanting to be there. She wants to go home, and Hunter eventually gets her to sit down and hands her like an envelope. There's a set of keys to a new car in her name, a new apartment in her name, an account with $100,000 in her name, and also I believe some information where, hey, each month I'm going to give you a stock tip. And I'm like, oh, this is giving me some Zach on Sisters vibes. You can take that money and invest it into a stock. You can make anywhere between $500,000 to $800,000, and if you're lucky, you might even make over $1 million. Now, the thing is, I get to see you whenever I want to. We can get drunk, we can drink, we can get high, maybe even get naked once or twice. But once it's over, you're set for life, and nobody has to know about it aside from me, you, and Kyle. And Sharon's like, look, I don't know what you think about me, what you know about me, but I'm not a whore. I'm not somebody who's just out on the street selling myself. I respect my body, and I sure as hell am no Sally Flemings. And he's like, who's that? You know who that is. Now, basically, if you don't know, Sarah Sally Hemings was a biracial enslaved woman who was owned by President Thomas Jefferson. Multiple lines of evidence, including modern DNA analysis, indicates that Hemings and Jefferson had a sexual relationship for years, and historians now broadly agree that he was the father of her 6 children. So, when she just keeps, wanting to be brought home, like, look, I want to get out of here, I want to go home, he brings up the fact, look, I looked at your credit score, Sharon, your student loans. Don't you think you should use the money? I mean, at least think about it. And he's like, look, the more you act pissed off and the more you know, go off on me, it just turns me on. And Sharon still isn't interested. And he goes on to say, look, you know, Sharon, look at me. I'm not some 75-year-old orange dude. I'm like, bro, the Trump references. And, you know, Sharon's like, look, I know that bull crap story you just tried to lay out there with Kyle. I know that you told him to bring me here by force. So don't act like you were shocked when he came up in here roughed up. So he's like, fine, you know what? If you don't want to do it, that's okay. But don't tell Sam or the butler, because after that, you know, your name will be dragged through the mud like you've been stalking me and everything. It's interesting that he mentioned Sam and Richard, probably due to the fact that he knows that, oh yeah, when Sharon first came, it's, oh yeah, I'm here to see the butler and I'm here to see Sam. So he's probably like, well, don't tell those two about what just happened because they might actually help you, even though I don't know why he mentioned that specifically. I don't know. It's just, well, I mean, no, he knows that Sharon knows those two. So he figures that if Sharon would tell them, but if Sharon does, it's like, oh, if you tell those two, then that will lead to your reputation being ruined in the public eye. So just keep this between us. So she like goes through one of the doors and Kyle actually is called in to take her home. And she just wants a way off the property. Like, look, I don't want to go anywhere with you. Just take me off the property. And that's all I need. Basically, he's going to escort her as far as he needs to go before they get to the front gate. So Sam actually follows Victoria outside for a breath. You know, I just need some air. And I know that Victoria is on a mission right now involving Alan, but she should know darn well that she can't leave the White House without somebody, you know, in close proximity. Not to mention, it hasn't even been 48 hours since you were almost assassinated with your husband. Of course, you're not going to be able to go outside without security. So, Grip roughs up Alan a bit and just says, look, just do what the lady tells you to do and we can end this. So, Grip gets out of the car as Victoria gets in there. And Grip and Sam have a little chat. It turns out Grip is a Secret Service agent from another division. And from there, Sam tells Grip to go into the break room and wait for him. So, you know, Victoria just says the same thing. Look, kill Ellie and the pain is over. And that's it. She gets out of the car and tells Sam, I'm about to go take me a hot bath. You want to watch? No. Yeah, I want to take me a hot bath. I'm going to be in the water, naked, touching myself, thinking of you. Okay. I mean, I probably So from there, Priscilla actually stops by Nancy's house and it's about giving her the money for the funeral. It's like, hey, me and Richard, we haven't fully made up, but we're working it out. So I think Priscilla just says, yeah, y'all belong together. So Nancy's like, well, how about you and Sam? What's going on with that? We're over. And her one rule, which was the title of the episode, is to never cheat. And he did. And Nancy just says, look, Priscilla, I'm worried about you. And, you know, I'll do anything, you know, to help you out. What's going on? What can I do? And she just says, just keep praying for me. It's like, don't worry about that. I will. Because, you know, when Nancy tries to say, look, you know, Priscilla, you and Sam love each other. You two are great. And it's like, no, Nancy, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So she gets up and leaves and Barry notices that something's off about her. But of course, Nancy just wants to talk about that girl that he had up in his room. It's just somebody that he met online, just a random girl from one of those apps. And when Richard comes in, you know, Nancy tells him what happened, and Richard says, like, don't you do that no more. It's like, where'd you meet her? On one of those hookup apps? Dad, how you know about that? Look, I'm old, but I ain't dead. So he just makes sure it never happens again because, you know, his mom's going to freak out about it. Apparently, Barry just left his chick at the bus stop. So, okay. Good on you, Barry. I mean, I'm kind of like underwhelmed by seeing Barry in this show now because of how well Vaughn is portraying Jameson Fields on the game. So, you know, he's just kind of here, but I'm like, hey, it is what it is. So, we go over to the pharmacy. Kareem arrives, and the place is obviously pretty jacked up from the encounter between Kyle and Sharon a couple episodes ago. You know, he's panicking and calls 911, and Kyle picks up the phone. So he must have, like, you know, the phone signals in that particular vicinity routed to his phone. So when Kareem calls 911, Kyle picks up and, you know, says, I have a missing employee. There are gun shell casings on the floor, and Kyle simply says, "What if you want to? If you want to make sure this guy stays safe and isn't hurt, you're going to answer the phone and say that you're okay, and you'll be back in about 20 minutes." So he does just that, and and she does just that. And Kareem is freaking out. He's obviously always controlling and wants to know everything, but he is rightfully concerned given the fact of the state of the pharmacy and of course just what happened to Dale. But she hands over the phone to Kyle, and he hangs up. So from there, he just straight up says, "Look, as far as I need to take you, just go up to the main gate. They'll let you out. You can call, do whatever you want to get back. Just know your phone's going to be monitored by me so long as you're on the property and after you leave. So just be careful who you call," that kind of stuff. And after that, she just goes. Now, Grip, this scene, not much to say. Sam wants to know what the connection is between Grip and the First Lady and Alan, and he really doesn't say anything. That's pretty much the gist of this scene. Donald snaps on Kyle to go find Bob because he's looking at the security info. "Kyle, get in here right away." And then Kyle just comes in like that. And then, "What the hell's this?" And he's asking Donald the questions like, "Wait, so how did he get in? Like, facial recognition. Kyle, do you think I know something like that? I just got the security footage. You saw what I saw. Okay." And then Kyle rightfully says, "Well, what are you going to do about your problem at home? Are you still on this, Kyle? Well, she got in here some way and Lily's obviously involved. Don't worry, I will handle it. So why don't you go take care of Bobby?" And Donald just freaks out. "What are you doing here, standing? What are you standing right here for? We need to go out there and find Bobby." And he's like, he just, looks up the guy and goes, "Thank you," because it seems like Donald is finally going to handle the Lily problem. I don't know why, but I just love this scene so much. Sharon gets back to the pharmacy. Kareem is freaking out because, Sharon is shutting him out and he can't be told anything because she's obviously worried about his safety if he knows too much about what went on. She makes up a cover story about somebody came in here trying to rob me, and then, I shot and I missed, and this kind of thing and that kind of thing. And, she really just tries to make a cover story but isn't convincing. So for some reason, she decides that she's going to tell Kareem, "I'm going to Barry's," and not expect him to freak out. And obviously he tries to control himself. But, it isn't work because "Let me follow you over there." No. I'm going to go by myself. And to be honest, I'm not a big Kareem fan, but I will admit when I understand where his character's coming from, like he's always been this controlling guy and he's obviously going to assume the worst. It's like, wait a minute, so you're going back to Barry. Okay, I see what this is. But thankfully he was able to not do too much, but we know that in the next episode, he and Sharon go over to Barry's house. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So from there, the vice president, and again, this is my favorite, scene of the episode. The vice president comes in because beforehand Max is still losing his damn mind. I don't know why the hell they wrote Max to be this way. He's just telling Bobby, it's probably the end for us. They're just going to try to get as much information out of us as they can. And the vice president comes in. He really has these Barack Obama isms down. So when it's just the three of them in the room, he pretty much states that, Diane came to see me before her death, before her murder, and basically told me that you, the golden boy, Max, a lot of the missing pieces of the puzzle that can bring this administration down. To sum up this scene, he wants to go before, the House and use the 25th Amendment to get Hunter out of office because him, his wife, and father-in-law are all corrupt. Max and his information, his evidence can fill in the rest of the missing pieces of the story. Believe it or not, there's a small group of people working in the White House who are actually trying to make sure the country doesn't fall apart. This president's incompetent. He hasn't been through a single cabinet meeting or board meeting without being bored out of his mind. The fact that he's so incompetent means that, a lot of people in the Senate, Congress, and whatnot love him because they're able to get their agendas passed through. And if Bobby and Max testify, then he will actually make them part of his cabinet members. And neither one of them voted for Hunter, which I found hilarious. It's like, look, we didn't vote for Hunter, meaning we didn't vote for you. So Going back to the haves and the have-nots, and one of Catherine's famous phrases to Hannah about Veronica is, sometimes the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So even though it seems like the vice president has the quote-unquote right intentions in mind, who's to say he won't be even worse than Hunter in the White House? You just never know. So Bobby and Max are skeptical, but given their circumstances, they kind of don't have a choice. It's like, look, we'll trust you a little bit, but we still don't fully follow. So from there, the vice president's like, look, I will give you a way out of here. Follow these gentlemen. They will take you somewhere, because what you shouldn't do is go back to that abandoned house or the chief of staff's attic, because if my guys can find you there, it's a good chance that the president's crew can find you as well. And I love it because as soon as he mentions the abandoned house, Bobby was like, I told you that was a dumbass idea. Oh yeah, and the chief of staff's attic. And and then Mac's like, oh well, who's the dipshit now? So I actually like these two and their dynamic. They really grown on me as time went on. So Kyle actually is sending agents to go find Bobby, not telling Sam, but it's just, like 3 guys, hey, I need you to work on this for me. And then we have Grip talking with Alonzo as they exchange guarding over Jason. Alonzo just tells Grip about the situation with Jason, that he's a little monster and you need to be direct with him if needed. And the fact that I got to hit him a couple times because his mom told me to made them both chuckle. So it turns out that Grip has known the first lady for a while, and when Alonzo's like, wait, you mean know her? No, not like that, professionally. So, wait a minute. Wasn't Alonzo supposed to go over to Alan's place to show him how to use a gun or something? I don't know if that's actually going to happen tonight. I mean, tonight in the continuity of the show, but something tells me it probably won't happen. So, Grip goes in the room to guard Jason, and he pretty much lets him know, look, I'm not phased by any of your mental or weird tactics or anything you try to do to shock me. And he warns that, okay, fine, you have a gun? Yes, I do. Well, I'll take it from you. And when I take it from you, just remember we had this conversation. And then he tells him to go to sleep. But, if you don't want to go to sleep, I can put you in a hold. I'll have you knocked out in 4 seconds. So, Jason, yeah, this is what your ass gets. And I hope that you're scared for your life. Also, I forgot to mention this, when the vice president was talking with Max and Bobby, they pretty much recounted everything, all the crimes and cover-ups, and the fact that one of the maids may have been killed by the first family, probably having an affair. So I don't think he knows about Jason actually killing Jean, but it's nice to know that her death is still something of importance to the story. So Lily calls Bobby as he and Max are in a van being taken somewhere by the VP's men. And, she just wants to know how he is, and the mission went fine. And she wants to see him. He's like, I'll see you soon. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if you take your ass back to that attic. So he looks at his phone and warns her that Donald is there. He just got home, so she hangs up. Donald confronts Lily about her. Well, no, at first it's a casual conversation of, oh, how was your day? Why did you come at the last minute with dresses? First lady had to meet with the second lady tomorrow for lunch. Oh, okay. So what about your boyfriend, Bobby? What are you talking about? We got him on surveillance footage, Lily, and I got the guys at the White House tearing that place from top to bottom. He's not there. When they find him, and they'll find him, you're going to jail. Oh no, dear. When I go to jail, we're all going to jail. And then she goes upstairs. So Ellie gets home because, I had almost forgotten that she hadn't been home in quite a while, because she's been trying to cover up this assassination attempt for the past 48 hours. And instead of actually asking what the hell happened to Alan, who's putting on bandages because he probably had his ribs and all bruised from Grip, beating his ass up in the car, she's more concerned about why is the apartment, broken and everything? What's going on? Why are you still here? I'm not going anywhere, Ellie. It's just the same thing between these two. And it's like, look, you're in danger. Don't you dare threaten me. If you're going to do something, then do it. And I'm like, Ellie, this dude is actually trying to save your life. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for him, who knows how far Jason would have went when he broke into your apartment. Come on now. So she's going to sleep. And at the end of the episode, Alan has the bat, and the episode ends with him holding the bat over her head. But in the preview, we know he ain't going to do a damn thing. So That's pretty much all I got to say about the episode. Like I said, it had some promising developments through the vice president, but overall, it was kind of meh. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, I give it a 6 out of 10. Like and subscribe, and if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.